Can the Chicago Bears keep their winning streak going? The Bears head to Baltimore to take on the Ravens and perhaps Lamar Jackson this Sunday at 12 p.m. Central. Can they win this game to extend their winning streak to 5 games? Watch this video to hear my thoughts. What's going on, guys? I'm back with another Chicago Bears pregame prediction video, which I'll be doing before every single Bears game this year. And the Bears have not lost in over a month, guys. That's crazy to talk about because I'm used to the Bears going on long losing streaks and not really winning back-to-back games. Although last year we also were 4-2 at this point, right? So I'm not trying to say we've, made it officially as a good team. We still have to keep on winning. But the fact that we are 4-2, we're on our longest winning streak since 2018. Ben Johnson's coaching is working magic. The run game has came alive in the last couple weeks. The defense keeps on forcing turnovers. Like, Caleb is not even playing his best ball as of late, but the Bears still keep on winning. So it's a very exciting thing if you are a Bears fan, because we could potentially be a playoff team this year, guys. I mean, if we keep on winning games, we could even compete for the division potentially, which we're probably not going to win that because, the Lions are ahead of us and a better football team. But the fact that we're even talking about these things after a bad 0-2 start, the fact that we're only half a game out of the division lead is crazy to talk about. So this has turned into a very fun Bear season. Again, we have to keep on winning, though. We can't go on a massive losing streak at this point like we have in years prior under Eberflus. But, there's a lot of good vibes right now surrounding the Chicago Bears. And looking at our opponent, the Baltimore Ravens, they are off to one of their worst starts in franchise history. They're 1-5. They just came off of a bye week. They've dealt with so many injuries. And the big question mark surrounding this game for the Ravens is if Lamar Jackson is going to play. At the time I'm recording this video on Wednesday morning, we have no idea if he's officially going to play or not. I just saw a report on Twitter by Dan Graziano saying that he's not expected to play, but other reports are stating that he will play. The odds in Vegas seem like they think he will play because the Ravens are favored to win this game by 5.5 points at the time recording this video. So this is going to be a very different game for the Chicago Bears depending on if Lamar Jackson plays or not. The Ravens are a totally different football team with Lamar Jackson, obviously, because he is an MVP caliber quarterback. He's won multiple MVPs. He's one of the best in the game, right? With his dynamic rushing ability, with his ability down the field as a passer too. So I'm really going to be curious to see if Lamar Jackson plays. We'll probably only find out maybe an hour before game time, honestly. So it's anybody's best guess what's going to happen. I'm sure that Ben Johnson is fully preparing, though, for Lamar to play this game. They're likely studying film on both Lamar Jackson and Cooper Rush. But if you are the Chicago Bears, you can't take this game lightly, even if Cooper Rush does play, because the last time we played the Ravens, Lamar did not play. Tyler Huntley was playing, and we still lost that game. So even with the backup in here, like, the Bears still have to play their hardest. They have to, keep on improving every single week, and, hopefully they can win this game. But let me break down this matchup more, talking about both sides of the football. Let me start by talking about the Ravens offense. And they rank number 16 in points scored per game, number 22 in yards gained per game, number 28 passing attack, number 10 run game. And as I mentioned, this is a totally different offense with Lamar Jackson. Lamar is an MVP caliber quarterback. So far this season, he has 869 passing yards, 10 passing touchdowns, only 1 interception. He's taken 15 sacks. So taking the sacks has been something he struggled with this year, at this point. But he also has 166 rushing yards and 1 rushing touchdown in only 4 games he's appeared in. So, Lamar, if he's in this game, he is a dynamic runner. He's so hard to get down. He can escape the pocket and, run for 20, 30 yards down the field. He can also throw bombs down the field. He's pretty accurate as a passer in the pocket as well. He can do it all, both through the air and through the ground. And the Bears have never played Lamar Jackson. It's so hard to prepare for him too, because nobody on your scout team is going to be as fast as Lamar at the quarterback spot. So, if Lamar does play, it's going to be a tough matchup for the Chicago Bears defense. But if Cooper Rush, the backup, plays, Cooper Rush has been horrible so far this season. Like, he has 303 passing yards, 0 passing touchdowns, and 4 interceptions in the games he's played in. Obviously, the Ravens have lost all those games. Their offense has really struggled in this stretch because Cooper Rush is simply not a good quarterback and not even close to as good of a quarterback as Lamar Jackson. if you look at the Ravens receiving weapons, they're also pretty lacking in terms of receiving weapons. Like, they don't have that dynamic number one superstar receiver that some of these other teams do. They do have Zay Flowers, and Zay Flowers has been pretty good. I mean, he has 423 receiving yards, and he's a, dynamic runner down the field, but he's also not of the level of, I don't know, like a Jamar Chase, a Justin Jefferson, or any of the top guys in the game. So, Zay is going to be, their number one option. But aside from that, they got DeAndre Hopkins, who's turning back the clock at the age of 33. He has a couple touchdowns and 178 receiving yards. He's basically been their number two option in this passing attack, which is insane because, he's older. He's not as fast as he used to be, but he's still making some pretty nice catches. But yeah, aside from those guys and Mark Andrews occasionally, they don't have a ton of receiving weapons. So even if Lamar Jackson is playing in this game, like, he's going to have to create a lot on his own because these receiving options are not really some of the best in football. But if you look at the run game is pretty good, like the Ravens run game always is. And they have Derrick Henry here, who's having a pretty productive season, but he's also been fumbling a good amount as well. He has 439 rushing yards, averaging 5 yards per carry. So doing pretty good as a runner, but he also has 3 fumbles on the year. And some of these fumbles have been in crucial moments. Like, you guys remember, week 1 against the Bills, he had that crucial fumble. He had a couple other fumbles after that too in other games. So with how good the Bears defense has been in terms of forcing fumbles, forcing turnovers, that could be an opportunity for the Bears defensive backs to hopefully force a turnover. Switching over to the Ravens defense, though, they have been horrible on this side of the ball. They rank number 32, dead last in points allowed per game, number 30 in yards allowed per game, number 28 pass defense, number 26 run defense. And the big story, obviously, with the injuries and everything, has been how bad their defensive line currently is. Okay, they lost Nnamdi Madubuike for the season due to a neck injury. He's their best interior pass rusher, and without him, their D-line is just one of the worst in football. They only have 8 sacks on the season. They cannot get home to the quarterback. They're barely averaging any pressures per game. They drafted Mike Green this year, but Mike Green has been pretty horrible. He had a pretty good preseason, but he's been really bad in the regular season. They just don't have any big names right now on this pass rush. And some of the previous big names, like, they're not really doing that well either. So when you can't get home to the quarterback, when you can't stop the run either, I mean, they have a putrid run defense, you're going to be fielding a pretty bad defense. One guy who's really struggling is their nickelback, Marlon Humphrey. According to PFF, he ranks as the 111th cornerback in coverage out of 112 possible cornerbacks. So he's basically the worst cornerback in football this year. He's allowing big time play after big time play in the middle of the field. He has just been horrible this year, and that's one area of the field I really want the Chicago Bears to exploit. I'm sure Ben Johnson's going to put DJ Moore in the slot, and he can work wonders in this game going up against one of the worst nickelbacks in football right now. If you look at their outside cornerbacks, Nate Wiggins and Chidobe Awuzie, they have been better. They've been pretty average, but average is not going to cut it with how bad this defensive line is, with how bad their nickelback is. Their linebackers also have had some pretty rough moments. I mean, they have Roquan Smith, and Roquan, he has his moments for sure, but he's not really been an elite linebacker up to this point this year. I'm sure he's going to be wanting a revenge game against the Chicago Bears because this is the first time he's facing the Bears since we traded him away. But yeah, the Ravens defense is just so bad. If you look at some more numbers, like their third down and red zone numbers, they allow a conversion on third down 40.6% of the time, and they allow a touchdown in the red zone 77.78% of the time. Both of these numbers are some of the worst in football. Their defensive coordinator, Zach Orr, every Ravens fan wants to fire him. Ravens fans hate this man with the passion, as I've been seeing on Twitter. So all in all, it's just not a good Ravens defense. It's the Ravens defense the Chicago Bears offense should be able to exploit. But going over to the Chicago Bears now, talking about the Bears offense, first of all, they rank number 10 in points scored per game, number 12 in yards gained per game, number 14 passing attack, number 8 run game. And guys, the Bears run game has been so freaking good over the past 2 weeks. Okay, they have been elite in the last 2 weeks. They have 330 rushing yards in the last 2 games. DeAndre Swift and Kyle Monangai have turned into a nice speed and power duo. I mean, Swift brings the electricity, Monangai brings the thunder, the power, and combined, these two have actually created a pretty solid backfield here in Chicago. It was a rough start. Obviously, the Bears had one of the worst rushing attacks in football the first month, but after the bye week, Ben Johnson found out what works on this offense in terms of, the run designs and the switch at left tackle to Theo Benedict. he's a much better run blocker than Braxton Jones is. So all these changes have really helped the Chicago Bears field a pretty nice ground game. And that's the thing about Ben Johnson, guys. Like, Ben Johnson, even though he has these fantastic passing plays, at his core, he loves to run the football. I mean, in Detroit, he basically called an even split of run versus pass, and he really wanted to establish the ground game early in his Detroit tenure. And when he did, that's when the Lions offense really started to take off. That's when Jared Goff had some of his best games as a passer, because the run game was working at such a high level. So I think Ben Johnson is just really happy that the run game now is getting going. And one thing off of that now, we want to see Caleb Williams start to stack good performances on top of each other, right? The last couple of games, the run game has kind of been carrying us, and Caleb has been okay, but last game against the Saints wasn't that good. So we want to see if Caleb can have a good performance against a pretty weak Ravens defense, right? Like, if you look at the season, Caleb's numbers are still pretty solid. Like, he's done a lot of good things. He's improved a lot as a passer in terms of, taking less sacks, just being more accurate down the field on the deep throws, but he can still improve even more. He's not even close to reaching his full potential as a quarterback. I want to see him attempting more deep shots in this game. I want to see him making quick decisions with the football, being accurate to all areas of the field, being consistent throughout the whole course of a game. Sometimes Caleb will have a stretch where he's just a little bit rattled or frantic and just inaccurate on his passes. So that's, one area where Caleb still has to improve, and I'm sure he will, because he's still a young quarterback learning a new system, and we're still winning games even with him learning. So that is the best part. One final thing I want to talk about is that the Bears offensive line on the inside has truly became elite. Okay, all the acquisitions Ryan Poles made in the offseason, they're paying off big time. Currently, Drew Dalman and Joe Thuney are ranked in the top 8 at their respective positions. If you look at Jonah Jackson, he's doing pretty solid too. He's above average as a pass protector. So the combination of these guys is truly creating a good pocket for Caleb Williams to step up into. He's finally being able to trust his offensive line in front and trust that he doesn't have to retreat and just run with the football. So these are going to create good habits for Caleb Williams, the fact that he is getting protected well. And in terms of run blocking, they've also been fantastic. And lastly, talking about the Bears defense, they rank number 25 in points allowed per game, number 25 in yards allowed per game, number 17 pass defense, number 28 run defense. But since the bye week especially, they have improved big time since they got Kyler Gordon back, since they got TJ Edwards back. And even though their yards and points allowed is a lot, they are actually number 6 in the NFL in EPA allowed per play as a defense. So EPA is basically expected points added, and if you get turnovers like the Bears defense does, it's going to reduce the expected points the opposing offense is scoring, and the Bears defense is elite at forcing turnovers. They're forcing turnovers at a historic rate. They have 16 turnovers forced on the year, which is one less than the 2018 defense pace at this point in the season. Through 6 games, the 2018 Bears defense forced 17 turnovers. The 2025 Bears defense has forced 16 turnovers, which is number 1 in the NFL. And it's just crazy to talk about because I did not think that was going to happen entering this year, especially missing Jalen Johnson. Our pass rush is not even doing that good. They're okay in stretches, but we don't have an elite pass rush like we did in 2018. But because of tremendous play by our secondary at moments, and because of Dennis Allen, scheming up really confusing looks for opposing quarterbacks, we are forcing a lot of turnovers. Another area the Bears defense has improved is their run defense. In the last couple weeks, the Bears have only allowed 168 rushing yards, which one of those games was against an elite rushing team in the Commanders. And the last game against the Saints, they basically allowed nothing on the ground. And again, TJ Edwards coming back really changed things big time. I mean, he's a fantastic run defender, and Kyler Gordon, at the nickel spot, he's also a fantastic run defender. So getting these two nice run defenders back has really changed the Bears defense into being, better against the run. I still won't say we're elite or top of the league against the run. Obviously, we still need more talent on the defensive line, but we're at least okay against the run, and against the pass, we're forcing so many turnovers. So that's helping the Chicago Bears defense be really competitive in 2025. With all that being said, let me get to my 3 keys to the Bears victory. How can the Chicago Bears win this game on the road? And key number 1 is going to be to turn pressures into sacks against Lamar Jackson. If Lamar Jackson does play in this game, he is a guy that you can't just pressure. You have to actually get him down into the dirt, because if you don't, he's going to escape. He's going to break free and run for 40, 50 yards down the field. So Easier said than done, obviously. Like, it's so hard to stop this guy. But if you are the Bears linebackers, the Bears edge rushers, you have to keep this guy contained and get him down into the dirt. Key number 2 then is going to be to incorporate the tight ends into this game plan. Okay, the Ravens are very weak in terms of their interior pass defense. Like, on the inside, if you look at Marlon Humphrey, he's one of the worst nickelbacks in football. And if you look at their linebackers, their play has also been lacking at times. I want to see the tight ends getting involved in this game. I want to see Colston Loveland getting targets in this game. We have not used Loveland whatsoever, really, through the first 6 weeks of the season. This guy has such tremendous potential, but we're just not scheming up the looks for him. So I want to see Ben Johnson really get Loveland and Komet, for that matter, involved early in this game and get them involved throughout the entirety of the game. And then finally, key number 3 is going to be to come away with touchdowns, not field goals, especially if you're playing Lamar Jackson with how bad the Ravens defense has been. If Lamar is on the other side, he's going to be scoring a good amount of points. So if you are the Bears offense, you have to be able to keep up. You can't just be satisfied with, a 40-yard field goal. You have to turn that field goal into a touchdown down the field if you want to win this game. And finally, it's time for my score prediction. Who do I have win this matchup? And guys, I actually have 2 separate predictions. I usually don't do this, but because of the uncertainty surrounding the Ravens quarterback situation with how good of a player Lamar Jackson is, I obviously can't have the same prediction for both quarterbacks. So if Lamar plays, I'm predicting the Ravens win by a score of 30-26, simply because I think they're going to be a very desperate team. Lamar is a fantastic quarterback, and being at 1-5, like, they're going to be desperate and hungry for a win, and they could get that win if Lamar comes back because he is such a dynamic quarterback. So if he comes back, I'm predicting Ravens to win, but if Cooper Rush plays, I'm predicting Bears win this game by a score of 30-16. I do think we have the capability of blowing Baltimore out if Cooper Rush is in this game, because he has been a horrible quarterback and the Bears defense has been so good in forcing turnovers. So you could expect a bunch of turnovers against Cooper Rush if he does play in this game. Now, could we beat Baltimore even if Lamar Jackson does play? Yes, obviously. That's why I'm predicting a pretty close game. Even with Lamar playing, I think the Bears are going to have a chance to win this game. And if they do get a win against Lamar Jackson, that would be a statement win by Ben Johnson and the Chicago Bears. So, I'm hoping that Lamar does play in this game and we can still beat him. But even if he doesn't play and we beat Cooper Rush, I'm still going to be happy, because a win is a damn win. It doesn't matter how a win comes. It'd be nice to prove yourself, but if the Bears just go out here and win this game, I'm going to be happy, because they would have a 5-game winning streak and be in the thick of the playoff race. As for my offense MVP of this game, I'm actually going to be going out on a limb here. I'm predicting Colston Loveland. Okay, Loveland has not been a factor really at all throughout the season up to this point, but I do think eventually we're going to see him really get involved and he's going to pop off. So I think this is going to be the Loveland breakout game. I think he has 80 receiving yards and a touchdown in this game. As for my defense MVP, I'm going to go with Kevin Byard. Kevin Byard has been fantastic this season. I think he gets an interception against whoever the Ravens quarterback is. Leave a comment down below, guys. What do you guys think is going to happen in this game? I'll be back with a post-game reaction Sunday after the game. As always, bear down.